Jagadav, and thank you for joining us today. So, the bhajan compares Sri Ram's eyes to lotus petals, symbolizing freshness and beauty. How does this imagery inspire seekers in their spiritual journey? Yes, Jagadav, the lotus symbolizes purity untouched even when it rose in muddy water. Similarly, Lord Ram's eyes reflect divine compassion and detachment, which inspires seekers to live in the world yet remain untainted. In Art of Living, His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar often says, "Be like a lotus, immersed yet untouched." Through practices like meditation and Sudarshan Kriya, we cultivate this quality. We may live amidst chaos, but our heart remains fresh and unpolluted. In the Vedic tradition, the lotus eyes of the Lord signify Divya Drishti or divine vision. Parayanas and pujas at Vedic hymns and sun often emphasize meditation upon the Lord's lotus eyes, allowing devotees to internalize his qualities. Chanting these verses during homas and daily recitations purifies our inner vision, reminding us to see the world through compassion and beauty rather than judgment. Now, the Lord's eyes are also said to carry karuna or compassion. How does compassion connect to art of living in Vedic dharmas and Stan practices? Yes, the compassion is the essence of spirituality. One when practices Sudarshan Kriya, stress melts away, and naturally the heart opens to compassion. Gurudev reminds us that seva or selfless service should be our natural expression or duty. Just as Lord Ram's compassionate eyes embrace everyone without bias, we too learn to accept people as they are in the sanstan's rituals. Compassion is evoked through mantras like Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. When fire rituals are performed, offerings are made with prayers not just for oneself but for all beings. This is compassion in action, wishing all and well for everyone, much like the divine glance of Sri Ram that blesses all. Now, how does visualizing Sri Ram's lotus like eyes impact our meditation practices? Visualization is powerful in meditation. When one visualizes Lord Ram's serene eyes, the mind instantly finds rest. In Art of Living guided meditations, we are often encouraged to bring an image of divinity or nature into our awareness. Seeing Ram's lotus eyes in the mind's eye calms emotional turbulence and makes the heart gentle. In Vedic meditation, traditions focusing on divine forms like dhyana stabilizes the wandering mind. Chanting Shri Ramchandra Kripalu Bhajaman while meditating on his eyes is a complete practice in itself. The lotus imagery purifies the inner eye, making meditation deeper. This is why such stotras are recited before pujas. They prepare the heart. Now, why do scriptures often use natural imagery like lotuses to describe divine qualities? Yes, Yagodev, nature reflects divinity in its purest form. When Tulsidas compares Ram's eyes to lotus petals, he connects the infinite to the tangible beauty we can see. Gurudev often says the divine is reflected in nature's simplicity. Art of Living courses encourage spending time in nature to experience this sacred connection. The Vedas often describe the divine using symbols from nature like sun, moon, rivers, and trees. The lotus is a recurring symbol because it grows in mud yet remains unstained. By meditating on such imagery, devotees understand spiritual truths in a relatable way. Parayanas preserve this poetic connection between God and creation. How can we embody the freshness of the lotus eyes in our daily interactions? Just as Lord Ram's gaze is always fresh, we too can meet people with a fresh perspective. Letting go of past impression is key. Gurudev teaches us every moment is new, every person is new. With pranayama and meditation, we cleanse impressions so we can interact with openness, just like Ram's ever kind eyes. Now, in daily pujas, devotees pray to see the world as the Lord sees it, with the compassion and freshness. By chanting verses and doing homas, we invite the same qualities into our life. When we interact with family, colleagues, or strangers, remembering the Lord's lotus eyes helps us respond with patience, kindness, and equanimity. Now, the bhajan says Sri Ram's form is indescribable. Why is divinity often called anivichaniya or the beyond words? Words are limited. The divine is infinite. His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji often says, silence speaks more than words. Lord Ram's presence cannot be captured by language. Just as love cannot be fully explained, it must be felt. Through meditation, we touch this realm of the indescribable. When we go beyond thoughts and words, we experience a silence that is Rama himself. Vedic texts describe God as Neti Neti, not this, not that. His form is beyond human comprehension. Rituals like homas, abhishekas, and parayanas are vehicles to surrender our limited mind to the infinite. While we may chant his 1,000 names, the truth is his glory is beyond even 1,000 names. Now, if Lord Ram's form is indescribable, why do saints like Tulsidas still attempt to describe it in hymns? That's the beauty of devotion. Though the infinite cannot be described, love compels expression. It's like when we love someone deeply, we write poetry, even knowing it cannot capture everything. Tulsidas, out of devotion, sings Ram's glory, knowing it is incomplete but still transformative. In Art of Living Satsangs, we also sing bhajans. Even if words fall short, the bhakti in the song connects us to the divine. In the Sansthan, Parayanas are not about describing God perfectly, but about invoking His presence. Just as a child's drawing of a parent may be imperfect, it still brings joy. Hymns like Ramchandra Kripalu may not capture all of Lord Ram's glory, but they open the devotee's heart to His compassion. Now, compassion is mentioned repeatedly in this bhajan. How is compassion the essence of Lord Ram's personality? Lord Ram's entire life is an embodiment of compassion, whether it was forgiving Kaikai, accepting Vibhishana, or blessing Shabari. His actions were rooted in kindness, and art of living compassion is cultivated through service. Gurudev often says, don't ask what the world can give you, ask what you can give to the world. This shift from expectation to contribution makes life joyous. Scriptures call Rama the Karuna Maya, live filled with compassion. Even when he punished, it was to uplift. Rituals like homas in his name are done for the welfare of all beings, not only the performer. This is Ram's spirit, compassion that transcends self interest and embraces all creation. Now, how can seekers experience this indescribable compassion in their daily lives? Jagadav, compassion begins with awareness. When we practice breathing techniques, our reactivity reduces. We stop judging and start listening. In this openness, we feel a connection to others. This connection is nothing but the flow of compassion. When we serve without expecting, meditate daily, and use and sing bhajans, we experience a glimpse of Ram's compassion within us. Seekers experience compassion by engaging in selfless service or seva and ritual practices with sincerity. When one lights a lamp or chants the Ram Stuti with devotion, a softening happens within. This is not mechanical, it's a living transmission of Ram's Karuna. Through parayanas and collective chanting, we feel his compassion presence vibrate in our hearts. Now, as we conclude this the stanza, how do art of living and Vedic themselves stand together help us embody Ram's indescribable compassion? Jagadav, Art of Living offers tools like Sudarshan Kriya, meditation, and Seva that transform us from inside. These practices awaken compassion naturally. When stress dissolves, love and service flow effortlessly. Ram is then not just a historical figure but a living presence in us. Vedic Dhamsans preserves and transmits Ram's energy through rituals, parayanas, homas, and pujas. These anchor us in tradition and invoke Ram's blessings. Together, the inner practices of art of living and the outer rituals of the Sansan create a complete path. One nurtures inner silence, the other sustains outer devotion. Both help us live the compassion of Sri Rama daily. Now, this line says, Lord Ram's beauty surpasses even innumerable cupids of Kamadeva. How do art of living practices help seekers rise beyond ordinary attraction to experience divine beauty? As Jagardev, ordinary attraction is often bound to physical form, but divine beauty is an inner radiance. His Holiness Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji teaches that true beauty lies in innocence, love, and awareness. When one practices Sudarshan Kriya, the mind clears and inner beauty shines forth. This beauty is not dependent on age or appearance. It is Rama like charm. The bhajan inspires us to recognize beauty as a quality of consciousness, not just form. Now, in Vedic tradition, the comparison to countless Kamdeva shows Ram's beauty is beyond imagination. Rituals like Abhishekam, ceremonial bathing, emphasize this divine form where devotees adorn the Lord with flowers, sandalwood, and yellow robes. Such rituals allow us to shift from worldly attraction to devotion, where beauty becomes sacred, uplifting, and liberating. Now, the verse compares Lord Rama to a fresh, dark rain cloud. How is this symbolism meaningful in our daily lives? Because a rain cloud carries both depth and nourishment. Similarly, Ram's presence brings coolness, refreshment, and relief to weary hearts. In our life, stress and dryness make us parched. Practices like meditation bring the same soothing freshness as Ram's cloud like form. Gurudev often says that the inner mind should rain joy and wisdom, nourishing others. In Vedic imagery, the monsoon cloud symbolizes abundance and grace. Ram's form as a dark cloud assures that his presence quenches the drought of suffering. Chanting these words during parayanas invokes the experience of inner relief. Just as the farmer waits for monsoon, the devotee waits for Ram's grace. When it comes, life blossoms. Now, why is Lord Rama described as wearing yellow garments of Pitambara? What is the significance of this color? The yellow represents wisdom, expansion, and prosperity. It's the color of the rising sun and of knowledge. His Holiness Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji encourages seekers to live with Vivek or discernment, and Ananda or joy quality is reflected in the yellow robe. For us, wearing bright, uplifting colors and satsangs also helps us lift the spirit. Ram's yellow robe reminds us to shine with knowledge and optimism daily. In rituals, deities are often adorned with the yellow clothes on Thursdays, dedicated to Guru and Vishnu. Yellow symbolizes auspiciousness, humility, and divine energy. When we see Rama in Pitambara, it reflects his role as Maryada Purushottam, who brings wisdom to the world. In homas and pujas, offering yellow flowers or cloth symbolizes invoking divine wisdom into our lives. Now, the verse mentions Ram's bow being as melodious as a flute. How can this dual imagery of warrior and musician be understood in our spiritual practices? Ram's bow symbolizes discipline while the flute represents harmony. Together they teach balance. Gurudev often says spirituality is a blend of firmness and gentleness. In life, we must take strong stands when needed, but our heart should remain soft. Through parayanas and pranayama and meditation, seekers cultivate this balance like Rama, who could wield a bow yet radiate melodious grace? Now, in scriptures, the bow is dharma upholding righteousness. Its sound is not harsh but musical, meaning dharma done with compassion creates harmony. In our Sansthan rituals, the rhythmic chanting of mantras is like the music of dharma. Just as Ram's bow protected dharma musically, so too do rituals safeguard tradition with beauty, not rigidity. Now, Tulsidas bows to Lord Rama as Raghuvar, the best among the Raghu dynasty. How can seekers today bow to Rama in practical ways beyond rituals? The bowing is not just physical, it's an inner surrender. When we drop our ego, we are bowing to Rama. Gurudev guides us to surrender worries, desires, and burdens to the divine. Through practices like Sudarshan Kriya, we lighten the mind and naturally surrender. Bowing to Rama means trusting life and aligning with Dharma. In Vedic Dharma, bowing or pranama is an act of humility, dissolving ego before the divine. At Vedic Dharma Sansthan, devotees bow to Parayana, chanting, and seva. In daily life, bowing to Rama can mean living honestly, performing duties sincerely, and treating others with respect. When we act righteously, we honor Rama. Now, the verse mentions Bharat as always welfare oriented, Santan Hitkari. How does this quality inspire spiritual seekers today? Jayadeva Bharat represents selfless service to society without personal gain. In Art of Living courses, Gurudev emphasizes the importance of being mindful of others' welfare, whether through community seva, teaching, or caring for neighbors. A seeker practices this quality daily. By putting the well being of others first, the mind expands, stress diminishes, and joy multiplies. Just like Bharat's example in the Ramayana, in Vedic tradition, Bharat symbolizes righteous governance and care for dharma. During rituals invoking Bharat's qualities reminds devotees that service is sacred. Parayanas often include stories of Bharat's loyalty and compassion, inspiring practitioners to embody selfless action. Homams and yagyas performed in his honor encourage collective welfare, reinforcing the principle that spiritual practice is inseparable from societal responsibility. Now, the verse describes Rama accompanied by Lakshmana and Sita. How does companionship contribute to spiritual growth? There, the spiritual growth is often amplified by supportive champions. Lakshmana represents devotion and protective energy, while Sita symbolizes purity and love. In Art of Living retreats, group meditations, satsangs, and seva projects create an environment where participants uplift each other. When practicing together, one feels encouragement, shared energy, and accountability, similar to Ram's companionship, which strengthens dharma. Now, Vedic rituals emphasize harmony in family and society. During Sitaram Kalyanam or group Parayanas, the presence of multiple participants reflects the trio of Ram, Sita, and Lakshmana. Each member's energy supports the collective, teaching that spiritual growth flourishes in community. It also reinforces the values of loyalty, protection, and compassion, qualities vital for balanced living. Now, why does the verse describe Rama as both beautiful or sundar and compassionate? And how are these qualities interlinked? The inner beauty manifests as compassion. Gurudev teaches that when the heart is open and loving, the mind radiates charm and positivity. Practices like Sudarshan Kriya and meditation remove stress and judgment, allowing natural kindness to shine. The bhajan reminds us that true beauty is inseparable from goodness, like Rama, whose form embodies moral and spiritual perfection. In Vedic symbolism, beauty or sundar is not mere appearance, it is harmony, grace, and divine order. Compassion or karuna is its expression during homas, chanting, or decorating. The daily devotees meditate on Ram's harmonious, compassionate form. This duality teaches that ethical, loving action enhances one's inner radiance. which rituals and parayanas make tangible in daily life. Now, how can practitioners emulate the combined qualities of Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita in their daily life? Rama embodies righteousness, Lakshman devotion, and Sita purity. Practitioners can integrate these through mindfulness, making ethical choices like Rama, showing loyalty and support like Lakshmana, and cultivating inner purity and patience like Sita. Daily meditation, service, and reflection on these qualities help balance mind, heart, and action. Together, they create holistic spiritual living. Now, Vedic rituals often visualize the trio to inspire devotees. For instance, during parayanas and homas, chanting their names while meditating on their form reminds practitioners to act righteously, be supportive, and maintain purity of thoughts. This integrated approach allows one to live dharma even amidst worldly challenges. Now, how do art of living practices and various rituals complement each other in nurturing these values and virtues? Art of living techniques cultivate inner awareness, emotional balance, and mindfulness. Meditation and breathing practices make the heart receptive to virtues like compassion, loyalty, and purity. Rituals, parayanas, and homas create a structured environment where these qualities can be reflected outwardly in family, society, and devotion. Together, art of living says inner transformation and Vidyas' outer expression align the seeker with the ideal exemplified by Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita. One develops virtue internally and embodies it externally. Now, the verse calls Lord Rama the delight of the Raghu dynasty, the Raghunand. How can devotees relate to this historical and spiritual significance? The Raghunand highlights that Lord Rama brings pride, joy, and virtue to the lineage of kings. Today, this teaches seekers that embodying dharma in daily life uplifts families, communities, and society. Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji emphasizes that our actions define our legacy through meditation, stress relief, and service. We align ourselves with dharmic principles, becoming sources of joy and inspiration in our spheres, just as Rama uplifted his dynasty. Now, in Vedic tradition, Rama is the embodiment of ideal kingship. Texts like Ramayana describe how his virtues preserved dharma in Kosala. During Ramnavami Parayanas, devotees reflect on his role in the dynasty to internalize responsibility, justice, and compassion. Homams invoking Raghunanda emphasize continuity of dharma through righteous actions, inspiring participants to carry forward these qualities in their own lives. Now, he is called the joy of Kosala, the Anand Kand Kosal. How does this illustrate the relationship between a leader and his people? Yes, true leadership inspires happiness and well being. Gurudev says, when the leader's mind is at peace, that energy radiates to all around. Similarly, Ram's presence brought prosperity and joy to Kosala. In daily life, leaders at home, work, or community can learn from this. When we act with mindfulness, compassion, and integrity, we uplift everyone around us. Meditation helps cultivate this centeredness. In Vedic philosophy, rulers are dharma protectors. Kosala's joy came not from wealth, but from moral order, protection, and welfare oriented governance. Rituals and parayanas celebrating Ram's rule remind us that well being of all humans is central to Dharma through collective chanting and homas. Devotees connect to this principle, internalizing responsibility and care for the world. Now, the verse identifies Rama as the son of Dasharatha. How important is lineage in understanding Dharma? Yes, Jagodev, lineage symbolizes continuity of values. Rama, as Dashrath's son, inherited and exemplified dharma. Gurudev teaches that while we cannot choose our family, we can rise above inherited habits through self awareness. Meditation and Kriya purify the mind, enabling us to honor our lineage while consciously shaping our character. Rama shows us that noble lineage is not just birth, it is action aligned with Dharma. In Vedic thought, Dashrath's house symbolizes righteous governance. Recognizing Rama as Dashrath Nandan highlights the responsibility to uphold family and societal dharma. Rituals invoking Dashratha and Rama encourage devotees to respect ancestors while living ethically, bridging past virtues and present action. Parayanas reinforce the principle that dharma sustains both individual and societal welfare. Now, the verse mentions Rama as a friend of the meek or Dinabandhu, the son or the Dineshan, the destroyer of demons, Danav Datyavansha Nikandanam. How can these qualities be applied today? Yes, several of these qualities translate to inner virtues like empathy, clarity, and courage. Sudarshan Kriya removes the inner darkness, allowing compassion for the weak at the Dinabandhu, clarity of mind or the Nesh, and the strength to overcome negative tendencies, which is Danav Nikandanam. Gurudev emphasizes that our real demons are anger, stress, and fear. By practicing breathing and meditation, we emulate these divine qualities in daily life. Now, Vedic rituals make these qualities experiential in homas and parayanas. Devotees chant these names to align with divine energy. Symbolically, the fire rituals burns ego, negativity, and generational karmic burdens. By combining inner practice with outer ritual, seekers cultivate empathy, clarity, and inner courage, echoing the timeless qualities of Lord Rama. Now, how do art of living practices and Vedic dharms and San rituals complement each other in manifesting these divine virtues? Inner practices cultivate awareness, emotional stability, and ethical alignment. Meditation, breathing, and reflection awaken the heart's natural compassion, clarity, and courage, the very qualities Rama embodies. Outer rituals like parayanas, homas, and pujas create a collective energy that reinforces these virtues. The external forms of devotion synchronize the inner experience, making their qualities tangible in relationships, community, and personal action together. Inner practice and outer devotion allow seekers to live the essence of Rama daily, Jagudev.